Hi, my name's Peter Willington and I'm a Commonwealth-Registered marriage celebrant. And I'm coming to you on the YouTubes today from my rainy courtyard in Nunda. This is Peter Willington Weddings Talks, my problem with Married at First Sight. So most of you are probably aware that Season 5 of Married at First Sight is currently airing on Channel 9, and as usual it's sparked debate in various circles with issues surrounding marriage. But there's one topic that I don't think is being given the airtime that I think it should, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to state at the outset of this video that I have absolutely no issue with the show. Anybody that goes on it, works on it, or watches it. To each their own, and I don't care what you do. So you know, in our house, we'll watch it if it's on the TV, but Shell and I mostly binge watch series on our streaming apps rather than tune into free-to-air broadcasts. If you don't like the show, as I know some people don't, that's great. You're entitled to your opinion. Just the solution is don't watch the show. If you're not content with that and you want to complain about the sanctity of marriage, etc., look, it's a provocative title. Everybody involved knows that it's not a real wedding. It may as well be called the let's set up a crazy intense blind date with all of your friends there and throw in some booze for good measure. Then let's just see how you go living together for a couple of months show. I personally don't think that's a big deal. Like I said, the weddings aren't real. They don't purport to be real. It's really just a stage-managed production to make good TV. The thing to remember is that it's documenting the social experiment of putting two people that experts think are compatible in an intense situation and making a reality TV show out of what happens. But the thing I want you to remember is that each one of these experiments has two real people at the center of it. So can we please just be respectful of that? For full disclosure, like I said earlier, I don't particularly plan on watching this show this season other than when I tuned in during the week to see some of my friends that are celebrants on the TV, like I would if they were going to be on the local news. But anyway, back to my problem with the show. It's a pretty small one compared to all of the other topics that are being talked about, but it's something that I really want to discuss. That is that the show is completely detached from the reality of what 99% of the weddings I'm involved with are like for the brides and or the grooms. Like I said, the social experiment really starts as a blind date on steroids, and it's completely understandable that the brides and grooms, no doubt under the careful guidance of a producer, are freaking the hell out before this blind date. It's also completely understandable that it makes for great TV, and that's why they show it. However, I have the privilege of getting a front row seat to a lot of weddings, and I'm also generally one of the few people that gets to regularly spend time with brides and grooms in the hour or so before the ceremony starts. While there are generally some nerves from anticipation, most of my clients are fairly relaxed and they just can't wait to see their best friend and marry them. And this is my issue. The reality of what happens in the hour before a wedding ceremony is almost always the polar opposite of what's depicted on this show. Generally, there is no drama or panic attacks or freakouts in this hour or so before the wedding. While there may be a momentary flare-up because something's missing or the decorations aren't quite right, generally these flare-ups can be fixed in a few minutes and they don't snowball into meltdowns and freakouts just because of the craziness of the situation. Look, I'm not saying it never happens, but almost all of the time my clients are really relaxed. And if they're not, I remind them that the wedding is about two people that are best friends that want to get married. And if you're not relaxed, I haven't done my job properly. If they're relaxed, or if they're not relaxed, it's easy to bring them back to earth because my clients are comfortable with what they're about to do. They're prepared, they know each other, they love each other. They've had time to consider their decision to marry, and they know that they're going to enjoy a hell of a party afterwards. Generally, couples that aren't 100% comfortable with the decision and frankly aren't ready to marry, to be blunt, most times the wedding's going to be called off months before we get to this point. Which brings me back to my issue with the show. In my opinion, while every wedding is a roller coaster of emotions to some extent, the thing that's going to have the biggest influence on how crazy that roller coaster will be is your expectations. If you're expecting drama, thinking that drama is the norm as it's represented on this show, trust me, it's simple psychology. You will find a way to create drama. So remember, what you see on this show isn't normal. It's not how your wedding day is going to go. I'm not saying that this is a good thing or a bad thing. With 5 seasons under their belt, it obviously makes for great television. I'm just saying, don't set your expectations of what your wedding day is going to be like based on what you see on a reality TV show. And with that, as always, if you are on the hunt for a celebrant, I'd love to be considered, even if you're a producer for Channel 9 preparing for the next season of Married at First Sight. Otherwise, if you have any questions or topics you'd like to see me cover in a future video, please let me know in the comments section below, get in touch through any of my social media platforms, or make an inquiry on my website. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to chatting all things weddings with you again soon.